Welcome to session one of International Marketing. Today we're just gonna give an introduction about this course and where you can find the course outline and different resources we're going to use and so on. And I just took the liberty of taking a group picture so that we know one another. So you're free also to take a group picture so that you know your colleagues. I encourage you to use MS Teams. I created a chat channel especially for you, for everybody. Introduce yourselves and feel free to use it even after the class or between classes to talk to your colleagues because next week and the week after, we're going to be forming teams and I want you to know one another so that when you choose a team, at least you choose a team which you like to work with. And the strength of teams is not that everyone is the same. Imagine if we had a football team and everybody is Musala, is like a striker. Yeah. Nobody knows it, no goalies, no defense, no midfield. So the strength in teams actually comes from diversity, comes from having different skills. Someone maybe is good at uh, math or numbers. Another person is, they're really good at maybe graphics and creativity and stuff like that. The third person is really experienced in research and so on. So sometimes we just focus on one skill and maybe do not appreciate the other skills which other members bring to the team, which is a mistake. I encourage you whenever you're making a team, don't look for a team, people who look exactly like you and think exactly like you. In this case, that does not enrich you. You need people who think differently, and you need to be able to embrace these differences because they will enrich your team. So today we're going to um, talk about the course outline. I will invite you to visit um, the course outline on D2L and read it thoroughly. And I would like you to give me some questions next week if you have questions or some expectations after you know about the grades and assessments and the sort of references and so on. I'm going to also introduce you to the textbook which we're going to use. And it's important that you actually buy this textbook because there are at least 20 assignments coming from this textbook and like lots of simulations and quizzes and things like that. So you would need to buy the textbook. For Marketing 120, the textbook is optional. You don't have to buy it. If you want to decide to buy it in Marketing 120, which is International Marketing Research, it's optional. But for this course, you need to buy the textbook because it has important simulations which we need to work with. So I will give you also instructions of how to get the textbook. Then we're going to just introduce a general idea about marketing and international marketing and why they are important. And I'm going to take you also through a tour um, through the technology. So just a quick tour over D2L and MS Teams, and maybe even a little bit about WebEx if you have not used it before. And we'll have maybe a small quiz at the end of this session so that you get a feel of what the sort of questions uh, and how we do some assessments. And also I will show you where you can find the class material and where you could maybe do some discussions and so on. Any questions so far? Any items you'd like to add to the contents of today? If you have, some ideas, just raise your hand or unmute your microphone. Okay, let's just move on. So I'm gonna just give you a minute to go through these learning outcomes. Let's just go through these learning outcomes. They are already, as I said, they are in D2L in the course outline, but just I'll give you a minute just to read these learning outcomes and then I try to explain them. Okay, so I hope you now have a better idea about the learning outcomes. So basically, in this course, we're going to cover some of the basic concepts regarding marketing. What is marketing? And what is the marketing mix? What does a SWOT analysis mean? What does a situation analysis mean? What is a marketing strategy? What does segmentation mean? Things like that. So these are like basic concepts. And we're going to also identify the key issues surrounding international marketing. So marketing in the domestic market is significantly different from international marketing, at least in terms of the challenges. You know, things like cultural differences, location differences, political factors, economic factors, which are different in the international markets than the ones that you would face in the domestic market. So all of these things create a little bit of a challenge to the international marketer. So we're going to identify some of these issues. We're going to also see how we can identify the key political, economic, socio-cultural, environmental, technological, legal, and legislative factors which affect international market, and how we will take this and factor them in our thinking and our planning, right? We're going to also learn how to do some quick research using maybe secondary research or existing reports, existing marketing reports, to see which markets are best to enter. So if we're a company, let's say, for example, in Vietnam or in India, and we want to export for the first time, where do we start? Do we go to the biggest market, or do we go to a market which doesn't have too much competition? Do we go to a market which is nearby, where the culture is similar, or do we go to a market where the demand is rising? No. So all of these things require knowledge about international markets and the ability to screen these markets. Screen means choose which ones to start with, prioritize, and which ones which are not suitable right now to start to export to or to do international marketing with. So we would also complement the work that we'll do in Marketing 120, which is international marketing research, because international marketing research will also learn about primary research, qualitative research, descriptive research, hypothesis forming and testing, and so on. So there will be a lot of integration between these two courses, and they're both really important. And to be honest, is marketing is one of the most important elements of business in general. So doing well in this course will actually help you in your future courses and in your career. Once we already developed the kind of skills and concepts related to international marketing, now we're going to try to apply these. So you're going to choose a company that you want to work with. And then you're going to try to identify opportunities and challenges facing this company, and then develop an international marketing plan for that company. So when the time comes, when I ask you to choose a company that you wish to work for, be very careful and choose a good company, because you will end up doing a lot of work with that company. And by the way, students from previous semesters, some of them ended up working for these companies. Some of them actually contacted these companies while they were doing research, and the companies were receptive and they responded back. And then they were welcoming the idea that they will help them develop international marketing plans. And some of them started working with these companies after that. So this is actually a good opportunity for you to get into the real world and to get into the real uh, career opportunities that could be awaiting you. Um, you will develop a marketing plan for a specific company, which means that you'll choose a segment to target, you'll choose a market to prioritize, you will choose a positioning strategy, you will develop a marketing mix for that company. You will also might even develop control mechanisms to make sure that uh, implementation is going in the right direction and so on. One important element of, or one important learning outcome of this course is your ability to work with a team. And this is why we created this Microsoft Teams environment for you so that you meet other colleagues and start learning about them, introducing yourself, introducing your skills, learning about their skills, and try to form a team and start working on creating creative solutions with your team. When you go to work, will you be working on your own or you think you'll be joining a team of other colleagues at work,
You're going to be joining a team of other, like in your workplace, you'll be working with
right?
multiple people. So you'll
Absolutely.
have to like adapt to how to
Ab-
gel with other people in order to get the job done.
Absolutely. One of the key things when you go to your job interview is that they're going to ask you a question like that. Tell us a situation where you worked with a team before and you had some team conflict, and how did you deal with that conflict? It's like a trick question. And a lot of people say, no, no, we never had conflicts before. And they think this is like a good answer. Usually it's not a good answer. Why? Because it's normal to have differences in a team because people are different. They come from different backgrounds and different paradigms. So if you didn't learn how to disagree agreeably, right? Disagree agreeably, meaning like it's okay to disagree, to have different opinions, but if you have respect and tolerance and you're really keen on getting everybody's input and you're able to resolve conflict and differences, that's a great skill. If you all the time you're agreeing to other people so because you're afraid of conflict, then you never really raise good points which might benefit the team. Maybe you have some point of view which is showing some threats which the other team members are not seeing. And if you don't bring this in time, then they don't take the precautions, and then the whole company maybe faces a big problem. And it could have been avoided if we just listened to one another. So this is an important thing, is to be able to work with a team, to accept different points of view, to also be able to express your own point of view, and to know that differences are good, and these differences actually help create creative solutions which are more holistic, solutions which take different points of view in consideration. So try to work on this skill because this is one of the most important skills which employers look for. They want to know if you can perform well in a team. So try to utilize this course to do that. I already added at least most of you to um, Microsoft Teams. So I hope that you will utilize the next few days to um, work on Microsoft Teams and chat with your colleagues. I see that some of the students they put their introductions. So Harnam and Mustafa Moiz, they put the introduction in the general channel, right? So I'm gonna delete that because we want to keep this general channel for only for the formal course announcements. I want you to go and go to the informal channel, which we call it the chat channel. So this is informal, right? I'm gonna even edit this channel and add the word informal. Fun, right? You can, as long as you're respectful and nice to everybody, you can, add anything. So those who added their chat here, I ask you to delete it and just move it to the informal channel. This channel is very important in the next couple of weeks because this is where I want you to meet your potential team members. So try to introduce yourself and have side conversations, side discussions with others, and start to know which team would you like to work with, because we're gonna do this maybe in week 2 or week 3, and I don't want you to be caught off guard saying, oh, I'm not happy with my team, I didn't get a chance to know that. This is your chance. Go here just as you would go to WhatsApp group or something. Introduce yourself, start some discussion with others until you actually find maybe a couple of people you want to work with. We're going to be working maybe in teams of four, 3 or 4 people, 3 or 4 people. So trying to find between 2 or 3, even 4 or 5 people you want to work with so that you have options in case your first choice is not there. I'm going to show you also a nice feature here, which is a files. So if we go to the general file, I go here to files, right? You will find that we can add, for example, a folder. So I'm going to say, put a folder here, and I'm just going to say class names, just just to show you the extent of, okay. Then I'm going to go inside class names. I'm going to create a new Excel workbook. So I'm going to say introduction and names. I'm going to create this. So now I have an Excel sheet, which all of you can edit in the same time. So we're going to take this opportunity. I'm going to ask you to go to this. So we're going to say here, name, maybe even first name, last name, and then where, city, where you are right now. Your first degree, your graduate or postgraduate, if any, right? Postgraduate degree, if any. First degree means, for example, BSc engineering or BSc commerce or BSc or BA, whatever, right? So postgraduate degree and job experience. If you had any job experience, again, if any, you don't have to have. So I want you to start writing to get in the same time, right? If you find somebody's already writing in a column, avoid this column, sorry, avoid this row and go to the next row. Program you joined, which is IBM or GBS. Some of you are from IBM and some of you from GBS. I want you to tell me which of these programs that you joined. Isn't this exciting? We're all working on the same sheet. See how quickly it's being filled? In some of the activities, we will work on trying to extract information about the market very quickly, about different markets in order to perform market screening. So we will use the power of numbers. There are maybe 30 of us or 25 of us here, and usually a research like that maybe would take a week. We're gonna perform a research like that in maybe 15 minutes. Of course, it's gonna be initial research, a draft research, but we will use the power of the brain power of people working together, collaborating. This is a collaboration platform. So you can see the power of this sort of collaboration platform. So much information is being generated very quickly. Very good. So let's move on. Let's move on. We're going to play a similar activity later on using another kind of file. But you see now how much fun this is. We working together. We can, if we choose to, we can get a lot of information together by the power of our numbers and our brain power. Our brain power is being multiplied now. Later on, we will even be able to collaborate and create and build on one each other's ideas. So it becomes really fast and it becomes really powerful. This is one of the things that has only been possible in the last maybe 20 years, that people can collaborate and create a lot of creative solutions very quickly. And we're gonna use some of these skills in next semester also in a course called innovation, where we do rapid prototyping. We come up with an innovation within an hour using technology or using leveraging our skills with technology. So I'm gonna close this right now. If you haven't finished it, finish it later on your time. It will always be there. I would like everyone to actually fill it with thoughtfulness, right? Because it will be, again, it will be useful for us when we are creating teams also. So this will be a reference for us. Would be a reference for us. I'm gonna add here in this column here, special skills. What is this special skills? So whatever, tell us what you're really good at, right? I'm gonna even write it down here. So again, don't be afraid. Don't undersell yourself. Tell us what you're really good at. Maybe somebody's really good at math, or somebody is really good at um, graphics or design or research or analysis or strategy, or really fast reader, can scan, like 100 pages in like 15 minutes. Some people are like that, right? All of these things will be beneficial when you're forming a team and you say, yeah, I want to work with this person. They're really good at this, and I'm not really good at this area, so I want to find someone who can complement me. Right? So this is a good thing to know. Later on, as the course advances, we will add more columns to know more about one another and collaborate and do great things together. Okay? So again, continue to fill this with more information, even more comments. I'm going to add here another column for comments. Right? So I'm going to close this now, but please continue to work on it until you feel, oh, this entry represents me, represents myself. It's a good entry. People can use it as a bio, right? Okay, good. I'm gonna close this now. Now we're going to continue with our. So we've discussed teams. I'm gonna show you D2L so that you are you feel comfortable with D2L. When you go to My Campus and you log in, this is what you see. And usually I think you see some kind of a schedule here. Then if you click on one of these tabs, then you find maybe some resources. So one of the resources I want you to find immediately now is a library. This is your best friend. And by the way, it has reports, which is like maybe if you try to access these reports, it's like maybe $1,000. So there's a lot of material here. Collectively, maybe millions or maybe actually billions of dollars worth of material here. If you try to get each of these reports, many of these reports is like $500 per copy, but you can get them here for free. So it's worth billions of dollars just to have access to this. I'm going to show you just an example. Okay. I'm going to ask Manpreet, tell me about an industry you would like to learn about.
Logistics.
Logistics. Okay. I'm
Yep.
going to ask Satpreet, tell me about a country you're interested to learn about.
About Canada only.
Okay, Canada. Wow. You see what I mean? See how many reports came out? Each of these reports, if you go on Google and try to read this report, at least they'll say $150, $200, $500, $1,500, each of these reports. So let's just like discover one of these reports. So this is actually dated October 2019. So it is not the latest report, but recent enough. It's not old. It has market analysis, market value, market growth, market segments, geographical segmentation, forecast. Porter model applied here. So there is a one of the great gurus of marketing and strategy is called Michael Porter. So he has a model. It's called the five forces model, which you're gonna learn about this semester and future semesters. So here they're applying Porter's model to that industry to see if, how attractive this industry is, what is the structure of the industry, and so on. Here is talking about the competitive landscape. Who are the leading players? What strategies they're using? Did you think that you could find a report like this, Manpreet, so easily? What
No,
about
sir.
what about Satpreet,
No, sir.
right? So
No.
my point here is that there is $1 billion worth of resources on the library for free. Of course, you're not going to be using the $1 billion, otherwise you'll have information overload, right? Maybe. But every time you are preparing a research, you can get maybe at least save, get value maybe few $1,000s by just accessing books, periodicals, Harvard Business Review, HBR, right? It's expensive just to get copy to read it. Just each article is worth something, right? However, this puts some load on you because I know that now you have access to this magical resource. I expect you to add to it your thoughts. If you just go and copy stuff from here, it's not useful. You need to go and read this stuff, understand, and then put your own thoughts. What do you think about this? What would be the future of that? What did COVID, how did COVID affect this forecast, right? Because this forecast was done in October 2019. 4 months later, the world entered into a totally new territory, which we have never witnessed before, since the Spanish flu, at least. Right? So lots of changes happen. Does this affect the logistics industry, Manfred?
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Of course. It affects it both positively and negatively. For example, a lot of people, because they are unable to go to the mall and buy, they're buying online. And how do they get the products or services? Through delivery. Oh, is delivery, does delivery use logistics? Of course. That's that's one of the key things in logistics is organizing fulfillment centers, organizing warehouses or organizing fulfillment centers, and then shipping and handling and delivery. So maybe some industries suffered hugely because of COVID-19, but maybe the logistics industry maybe even grew during the pandemic because more and more people were relying on delivery and stuff like that. So again, just by accessing this report, you have a bigger responsibility now to add more thoughts to it. If you just look at the report and copy stuff from it, that is not useful. Yes, you need to get information and statistics from the report, but now you need to put your input. What does this information mean? How does it help you formulate a viable strategy? Things like that. Okay? So let's go back to our um, tour. So we've explored teams a little bit. We're now working on D2L. So now let's go back to D2L. There's something here which was called student life. Have you seen this page before? Yes or no? Who has seen this page? Good. So this page has a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, right? It has academic supports. By the way, there are people in the college who are paid just to help you. Their salaries, they're not teaching, but they could be counseling, they could be tutoring, they could be helping you with learning strategies. Let's say that, you know, some of us, for example, have dyslexia or ADHD. They are here to help you learn the best strategies to achieve great academic results with even if you have dyslexia. You will notice, for example, that the presentation which I'm giving, it has auto captions. Of course, it's not 100% accurate, but at least if somebody has maybe visual auditory problem and they cannot really hear easily, or maybe their internet uh, or they cannot really hear very well, so they can read this stuff, right? For example, there are so many learning strategies and exam taking strategies. So here there is accessible education if for people who have any learning disabilities, for people who maybe need counseling or need advice or guidance. Also, there is career services. You know, when the time comes and you want to look for a job near graduation, there's IT services if you have a problem with any of the softwares or any, you know. So lots of indigenous student services if you want to learn more about, you know, indigenous studies or indigenous services, you can go here. Rights and responsibilities, international student service, again, right? When you come here, maybe you want to know more about housing and food, or maybe you can go to housing and food and ask them, what is my mom cooking today? Here also equity, diversity and inclusion, human rights, things like that. So all of this is also the registrar office in case you need any, you know, anything from the registrar and so on. If you click here, you can go to your email, right? You go here to you go to your courses. So now when you go to the course, let's go to Marketing 119. And I'm going to look at Marketing 119 as a student. So here, if I want to see, you know, quizzes, there's no quizzes required yet. So there's no quizzes required for me. Here, the drop boxes. Again, if there are assignments which are required from me at this time, then you will see these assignments. Here I can go to the news. So now I can see, you know, if there are important announcements. Here I can see that this is very important. Remember this, maybe even take a screenshot. This is the content. This is the content. So if you click on the content, you will find that you have here, for example, so you have here certain activities, you have a simulation here. There's a video about how to use McGraw Hill Connect, right? And how to access McGraw Hill Connect. Can I ask you all to go to this, to week one on D2L? Just click on D2L and go to week one in Marketing 119. I want you to try it. right? Did anyone have a problem accessing D2L, the content? So each week, you'd find each week is like a folder, and it under that folder it has different activities and maybe different videos and different lecture notes and things like that. Okay, let's move on. Now, I want to show you McGraw-Hill Connect. So this is a book which we're going to be using this semester. This is this book, right? But you don't have to buy the hard copy. You can just buy the soft copy, which comes with lots of activities like simulations and quizzes and things like that. And there is a presentation on D2L on how to buy this license. So you buy a license, I think it's for 1 year, so you can use it for 1 year. And it has all kinds of, so there is an ebook inside, but there you can also access activities and simulations, things like that. And I'm going to show you all these things later. This is how to register with McGraw-Hill Connect. This is how to create an account. And if you have any issues, this is, so take a screenshot of this, but it is also available on D2L. The whole presentation is available on D2L. So you can access this presentation anytime after the class and go step by step until you register on McGraw-Hill Connect and get the license so that you have access to the simulations and the ebook and the activities and the assignments and everything. Okay, so now I think we have covered McGraw-Hill Connect. Now, I wanted to take time to take you through the technology, to walk you through the technology so that you don't have any problem accessing any parts of the technology we're using. Ideally, we will be able to work together in the classroom maybe next semester, maybe, maybe by fall 2021, when it's safe, when everybody has received the vaccine. But until then, we have to work remotely like this, right? So I want you to get the best experience. I don't want you to be disadvantaged by not being in the classroom. You understand what I mean? There's a huge disadvantage. There's a lot of research which is coming out now, which is showing that students are 1 year behind because of COVID. If I just put a lecture note and a video online and then you go and access this, I doubt that you will benefit anything. You could get from YouTube a ton of videos about marketing and international marketing. There is no value, to be honest, in videos at all. The real value comes from our interaction, from our working together on that Excel sheet, from our working together on a PowerPoint, from our discussions together, from your discussions with your colleague, from your attempts to find a problem and solve it together. That's the value. But if you go on on YouTube and search for videos on international marketing, you'd probably the results would be 5 million videos about international marketing. So what is the point? So in order to avoid this situation, and this research, it was just I just heard about it like 2 weeks ago on CNN, that most students are lagging 1 year behind. So they lost one academic year. Although they have technology, they have this, they have that, but they lost. Like, they cannot really get the concept or the skills. So how can we overcome this? We overcome this by leveraging the technology. For example, by using MS Teams, we're almost the same together, or by using WebEx. So now if you have a question, you give me the question, I use your ideas, I also learn from you and learn what works with you and what doesn't work with you and so on. So that is why I say it's really important for you to try to be a part of the interaction. Sure, the videos will be there, the lecture notes will be there, the simulation will be there and connect, which you can access at your ease, at your convenience. Fine, of course. But it is the interactions which actually create value for you. So I invite you to try to, as much as possible, to join our sessions. You will find it beneficial. And after the session, then you can go to D2L and go to MS Teams and go to McGraw-Hill Connect and use all the technology in order to complete the activities and assignments. However, I don't want you to be disadvantaged by the fact that you're not in the classroom right now. By being here together, this, in my opinion, almost as good as a classroom, sometimes even better, because now we can also work together in the same document and so on. So try to make the best out of it until we are able to safely say, now we can go back to the classroom. But until then, I don't want you to lose a year of your life by having substandard education. I don't want you to have substandard education. I want you to have superior education. I want you to learn how to become successful here in Canada, how to access jobs in Canada, how to acquire the skills which employers in Canada want to see and seek and find missing. Many employers, they come and fill questionnaires saying, we post jobs for this and that, and we don't, students don't have the right skills. They know about math, they know about marketing, but they don't know about teamwork. They don't have critical problem solving skills. They don't know how to be creative and innovative and service oriented. Oh, there's no course about that. But the work you do in courses like this enable you to acquire these skills by doing, not by hearing a lecture or watching a video, but by doing things together. So that's why I'm saying this is important. All right. The best way to use this course as an anchor for your career is to join the sessions, take notes, not just to say, oh, the presentations are on D2L, sure, but your notes will be meaningful because most of the presentations are point based. It's just a point. Doesn't tell the story. We talk about each slide maybe for 10 minutes. The slide has 5 points. So take notes. Take your personal notes and personal reflections, and maybe even write a question and try to ask this question on the chat line like this. Right? And so on. So try to contribute. Whenever I ask you to write something or add something to an Excel sheet or to a PowerPoint, try to do that. Your contribution, you're building a skill when you contribute. When you just listen, you're passive. Do you think, for example, somebody can become a good cyclist by watching a video about biking? I don't think so. You can never acquire a skill by watching a video. You need to ride the bike, start biking, fall, get up, have somebody next to you telling you, like, oh, you should be looking forward. You shouldn't be looking at the pedal. You should be looking forward and doing this and doing that. Don't worry, like just start pedaling and think, all right? When you go into a turn, try to lean a little bit inwards so that okay. So all of these kind of things, you can't really learn from a video. You have to learn by doing. That's why we go to MS Teams. Like Jagadish, you probably know, for example, about aeronautical engineering, about like flight simulators and things like that. You think if you go and read a book about flying, you can become a good pilot? No, it's impossible. You need to actually do it. You need to have a mentor who would take you to the sky, and in the sky, they let you start to control the plane. And next time, maybe take you through landing. And after so many hours of flying together with an instructor, then they say, okay, now you can go on a solo flight, maybe after 100 hours or 50 hours. Why? Because you cannot really learn flying or cycling or driving or international marketing or multivariate analysis. You cannot learn that from a book. You have to learn it by doing it. That's the thing about skills. Skills are built by doing. So that is why you need to contribute. And I invite you to make sure that you attend these sessions. Of course, if you have, like a problem or you cannot attend one session, that's okay. I understand. I understand the time difference. I understand that somebody has to travel, like our friend here who has to get a passport or get a visa. That's fine. But if you feel like you're missing something, just write to me or make an appointment so I can arrange maybe for another session for you or talk to you about the points that you missed or something like that, right? All right, let's go forward. I'm not gonna do the team forming this week. I'm gonna do it next week so that I want to give you time to learn about other team members so that next week when I ask you to start to choose, a team member, then you have maybe some information, sufficient information about that. Now, I'm going to ask you to go back to MS Teams. Now we're going to start a new file. So I'm going to start a new file. It's a PowerPoint presentation. And let's go to marketing definitions. So now we have 30 or 40 slides. Okay. So a nice photo from your city, a photo you like, a nice, lovely photo from your city. So you're going to define marketing. Why do you think it's important for companies? How do you use it to leverage your academic and career progress? So just choose an empty slide and give us this stuff. And the trick is you have only 5 minutes to do this. Okay, I'll give you 15 minutes. Why? Because then if you want to go and get a cup of coffee also or water or something, if it's late, don't drink coffee because otherwise you won't be able to sleep. So maybe have like a nice lemonade or hibiscus or some nice drink which doesn't have caffeine if it's late where you are. Or if you're okay with drinking coffee and sleeping later, that's fine. Whatever works for you. So I'm gonna give you 15 minutes. I'm gonna actually switch off my video now, right? And so that you can do that. Harshal, would you like to share your definition?
Yes, sure, sir.
Okay, this is Harshal.
Okay, so yeah, hi everybody. So
What is your definition?
it's on the first line. Like according to me, marketing is a medium or an activity to introduce the customers to the existing market, the products and services offered by various other companies.
Okay. Oh, I see you had two inputs, right? So
Sorry.
you had two slides with your name. One is blank and one is actually has.
Yeah, actually, I just selected the first slide and then I found someone doing editing in that, so I just
Okay, no
selected the other one.
problems. No problems at all. So let us go back to your where is this place? Looks like a highway.
So this is a highway which is visible from my balcony,
Hmm.
and this can also be termed as Mumbai to Pune Express Highway.
Mm. So let me guess. Do you live in the 32nd floor?
No, it's on the 14th floor.
14th floor. Okay. So
Yeah,
this is a picture from the 14th floor on a highway
yes.
in which city?
Kalamboli,
Okay.
Navi Mumbai.
So again, everybody, after this lecture, add a caption under the picture to describe the picture. So now let us go back to our initial slide. When we go to the dictionary and find some definitions, you find it says the action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including marketing, research, and advertising. Right. So this is a kind of a dictionary definition, and unfortunately, it's wrong. So that is why, in business terms, this is not marketing. The main question about marketing is not even here yet. What is the first most important question? Huh?
Whom?
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 Whom? Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Whom? Whom are we serving? Why? Why is whom are we serving the most important question? It's because when we know whom we're serving, then we can know what is their need. Why do they need the product? What problems are they facing? And this will help us design the product. So this will help us ask another question. What products do we produce? What products should we design? Why? Because now we need to design products to fulfill the needs of these customers. If we didn't know whom we're serving, you know, if we let us say we're developing computers. If we're developing computers for gamers, it's very different. If we are designing computers for students or for people who are doing video editing or for people who are doing music production or for somebody who's doing CAD and CAM, computer aided design and computer aided manufacturing, or for someone like Trishita who's doing project management. For example, project Microsoft project does not come on Mac. So if we say, yeah, let's like make a great product, Mac, we know everybody likes Mac. Let's make Mac. And then Tricia says, sorry, I cannot buy that. Why? Because the most important software which I use is Project, MS Project, and it doesn't actually work on Mac. There's no Mac version for it. Oh, so after we manufacture all of these computers, nobody wants to buy them because we wanted to sell to project management students, but we failed to ask the first question: whom are we serving, and what are their needs? Right. So that is the first important question. The most important question is always whom. All the other questions are important. Whom? So first question is whom. Second question, what is their problem? What are their needs? What are their preferences? These are important questions because now we can ask ourselves what products or services should we develop for them? What computer should we design for them? What specification? And then we can say, how much? What is the budget of a student? Now we know what is the price range they can afford to pay. If they were core gamers and serious gamers, maybe they require maybe really advanced graphics card, advanced processors, large memory, large GPU memory, stuff like that. So they're willing to pay maybe $2,000, $3,000 per machine. Imagine that. Imagine if we go to a student and say, you have to pay $3,000 for your laptop. Oh, I can't do that. Right? Because students, they don't really need, or office people, they don't really need, an advanced machine with like advanced graphics, because they're only using it for Microsoft Office and, Skype and Zoom and, WebEx and things like that. They don't need that advanced GPU processors. So do you see now why this definition fails? Because it doesn't ask the first question, who, right? And luckily, we have a better definition, which is coming from the American Marketing Association, which is one of the biggest marketing associations in the world by virtue of the number of members it has, but also by the virtue of the contributions it adds to the profession of marketing. I'm sure you have, probably in your country, you have also marketing association, and I encourage you to reach out to see, if they have their own definition. So here the definition is, it is activity, institutions, processes for creating. The first word is creating, right? We don't take the products for granted. Here we start with creating, because I asked you, who created these products? Somebody said, the laborers. Okay, the laborers maybe manufacture the products, but does this mean that they decided on the specifications? And if they decide on the specification, how would they decide on the specification? We have to have some consumer in mind, some user, somebody we're targeting, and know their needs, right? Okay, so it is activity, set of institutions and processes for creating. Okay, creating, communicating, here in our promotion, advertising, maybe social media, maybe TV, maybe press, maybe word of mouth. So communicating, delivering. So here it includes things like channel, distribution, maybe delivery, logistics, and so on. And exchanging, offerings is deciding on a product, on a price, maybe method of payment. It's an offering that have value for customers. Value. Where is the value coming from? Value comes from solving problems, right? You have, maybe you want to attend this session, and then you come with maybe a laptop which is maybe old, and you find you're stuck and doesn't work. So you go quickly to the nearest computer shop and say, the old laptop which I had doesn't really work on WebEx. It's so slow, it gets stuck, it gets hang, and like I couldn't really benefit from the lecture. I have a problem. So the computer guy, you say, yeah, because you're using a computer i3 processor, and it's only get like 2 megabyte, 2 gigabyte of RAM and weak video card. It will not really work for WebEx at all. Oh, so what should I do? Oh, you have to buy this. So you have a problem, and you try to buy a product to solve that problem. Let us say that I work many hours a week, and I have kids, and I need to do, like, I find, oh, too much time is taking in washing the dishes. Every time, like, they eat 10 dishes are it's got food and stuff like that. Now I don't have time to wash that, and I have work and stuff like that. So I have a problem. So I go and buy maybe a dishwasher. Or somebody say, I can't be cooking every week. I can't be cooking every day. I need to cook maybe every 3 or 4 days. And then, okay, so now I need to buy a fridge where I can store the food, and maybe a microwave or a stove to heat that. So I have a problem. So I buy a product to solve the problem. That creates value. Value comes from solving problems. Some people think, oh, value comes from giving discounts. No, it's good to give discounts, but value comes from solving problems. Only when you solve someone's problem are they willing to pay it. For example, oh, I'm sick, I have a fever, I have a headache, so I have a problem. So now I'm willing to pay for the medicine. I'm willing to pay for a doctor who will prescribe the medicine. I'm willing to pay for service in the hospital if there is no health insurance or something, right? So that is the whole concept of exchange, that you have a problem, so you try to find somebody who will solve this problem for you, and you're willing to pay them something. So that's an exchange. The word exchange is very important. That is creating value. And the first step in creating value is to ask which question again? Kainath. What is the first question we need to ask in order to create value? Kainath, Afan. I can't hear you yet because I can't hear you. Now I can hear you. Good.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
So the question is, what is the first question do we ask in order to create value?
In order to create value.
Yeah. What is the first question we ask in marketing? We just talked about this a few minutes ago. No?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Somebody else who followed what we were saying. Manpreet, what is the first question we ask in order to create value and marketing?
Whom?
Whom? Thank you. Whom? That's the most important question. Why? Whom? Because marketing is about consumers. It's about customers. It's about users. If we don't know whom we're serving, we don't know what their problem is. We don't know their budget. We don't know their preferences. We don't know where they buy the products. We don't know which magazines they read or which channel they watch on TV or which radio they listen to or which social media platform they frequent, right? So that is why this is the first question we need to ask. Whom are we serving? And then the next question would be, what is their problem? What are their preferences? What is their profile? Why do they need to buy a product? Right? And then we ask, so what will be the solution? So we define the problem, and then what would be the solution? What would be the product that we will sell to them? What would be the price that they would be willing to pay in exchange for this value we're creating for them? Where would they like to buy it from? Do they like to buy it from a supermarket, grocery store, or online? Or maybe they need door-to-door salespeople to come and sell it to them. Okay. So this is a kind of channel. And then communication. Which media do they read? How can I reach them? How can I tell them about my product? I have to go and tell them about the product in a media which they already read or watch. So when Harshal was talking about media in the beginning, right? You were talking about media, right? So this is important, but it comes like number 7. It's very important, but it comes like number 7. So again, Harshal, what is number 1? Whom? Thank you. I couldn't hear you, but I could read your lips. So whom? That's number 1 is whom. Whom? Whom are we serving? Who are the customers? And then we ask, what is their problem? Why are they in need of this product? And then what would be the product? How much will I sell the product for, and how much are they willing to pay for it? Where will they like to buy it? What medium? Now, so you see this number 7. What medium is it suitable for them to reach them and tell them about my product or service? So that's why I'm saying medium comes number 7 or 8, right? For the last time, Mustafa Moiz, What is the first question, sir?
Whom?
Thank you. If you come out of this lecture knowing one thing, this is the only one thing I want you to know. Is that the first question we ask in marketing is not what, it's not how much, it's not the profit. No, the first question is whom. Whom are we serving? So that we are customer centric. Customer centric. We're customer oriented. We think like our customers. We empathize with our customers and know their problem and know their profile and know their budget and even know which product are they using now. Why are they not satisfied with that product? Who is our competition? How can we be different from the competition? Right? Okay, good. So at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, this is like 250 years ago, beginning of the Industrial Revolution, before that, before the Industrial Revolution, products were expensive and they were maybe manufactured by small artisans, so they were quite expensive. And most people as the population, they couldn't really have access to these products because they were expensive. At the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, machines replaced artisans. So the whole idea was to start using machines to kind of make things cheaper. So the first question was how to produce more. So in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, most companies or most businesses were production oriented. They just wanted to make sure that they, for example, manufacture shoes, mini shoes, easily, so that they are cheap and affordable for most people who didn't have shoes. In the beginning of the century, last century, when Henry Ford introduced mass production to the automotive industry, before that, cars were made by workshops and they were really expensive, they were unreliable, they would break down a lot, and most people couldn't afford them. When Henry Ford decided, I'm gonna make cars standardized. We're gonna introduce mass production into cars. We're gonna introduce the assembly line. Cars went from $1,500 per car to maybe $400 per car. And then they became really accessible and affordable to most people. So production zoomed. So the first phase in most companies historically was production orientation. How to produce more in order to reach economies of scale and reduce the cost of production so that the products become affordable to most people. But as more and more products became available in the market, manufacturers and businesses found it difficult to sell their products because they were all similar. So they became interested in differentiating the product so that they're different. So this is a product orientation, that businesses were focusing on the design of the product and how to differentiate themselves from other manufacturers and so on. So product differentiation started giving a lot of attention to design and features of the product, benefits or things like that. And then again, they found they have lots of inventory. The warehouse is full of products and nobody's buying. So they started becoming sales oriented. Sales oriented, they started hiring salespeople. They go around the country with samples or brochures and show customers, trying to increase sales as much as possible. So that was the stage of sales orientation. And then companies became more mature and more advanced and start to say, okay, instead of trying to sell whatever we have in the inventory and find that many customers don't like it, why don't we start by asking customers What do they like? And instead of manufacturing something and then discovering that customers really don't like it that much, why not try to learn more about customers and then see their needs, see their problems, and produce products accordingly. So that is the marketing on consumer orientation. This is what we're talking about now, marketing orientation. And then the latest trend is societal orientation, thinking, oh, we need to be also mindful of the impact of our products and services on society, on health. For example, things like tobacco or alcohol or addictive products or products which cause obesity. Now we need to be careful. We cannot market to children. We need to be careful about the packaging and about the footprint that we have on the environment. So that became the societal orientation. So that's a kind of evolution of marketing, how marketing came to become what it is today. And the first, when we do marketing, the first process is to learn about our customers. Because we said the most important question is whom. So here we need to research and learn about our customers. What is their profile? What are their needs? What are their problems? What is their contexts? What is their buying habits or purchase habits? And who's the competition? What is the competition offering? What kind of products does the competition have? What is the price of the competition? Where do they sell? So that's the first part, learning first. First, before producing something and finding out that customers don't like it, let's first focus on understanding our customers and learning about them and understanding them. And then let's choose a segment. We can't serve all segments in the market. We cannot serve gamers and students and executives with the same computer. We need to segment the market into homogeneous groups and then maybe choose one segment and say, oh, we're going to focus on students because we think this is an underserved segment and there is a lot of users here who require whose needs are not really well addressed. Okay, so we segment the market, target a specific segment, understand the needs of this segment, and then design a product which will be significantly different from the competition. So we kind of position ourselves in a way that creates unique value to customers as compared to our competition. And then we start developing our marketing plan, our marketing mix. The marketing mix answers the questions such as, what does a product look like? What are the benefits which the product provide? What is the price of the product? Where do we sell it? So channels. And which media do we use in order to communicate our value proposition to customers? So this becomes our marketing mix. Marketing mix, product, price, place, which is talking about the channel, and promotion, which talks about communication and promotion and so on. So that is a marketing mix. So now, once we have a marketing mix developed, planned, now we need to implement. Now we need to go and manufacture that product or make that product available. Put it into production. Okay. Make sure that the quality is good. Make sure that the specifications as per advertised. Okay. We need now to price it. We need to establish pricing policies and so on. Now we need to find the channel and reach the channel and start distribution and make deals with the retailers or grocery stores or electronic shops where we sell our product, whatever. So that is implementation. Put the plan into action. Okay. Also create maybe campaigns to raise awareness and create awareness about the product and the benefits that it has, where it is sold, what kind of warranty does it have, why should customers buy it, things like that. Okay. But we also need to measure our performance to make sure that we are reaching our targets. In the planning phase, we set some goals and targets. In the measurement phase and the control phase, we measure the actual performance as compared to the targets. And then we take maybe corrective action and improve our performance in order to enhance our market share, our productivity, our profits, and so on. So this is a process of marketing. And by the way, throughout this course, we'll be doing different things here. So I'm just giving you an overview. So don't feel overwhelmed. Oh, this is too many things. How can we learn all these things? All right. Each week we'll do one part. Don't don't feel, oh, this is too much. I can't know all these things. Sure you can if we break them into small parts. So each week we'll be addressing one part. Next week we're going to be looking at environmental scanning. And that is why this week I created a simulation for you, and it's on D2L, and it's called Recapture Your Castle. Write this down so that you do it after the class. Recapture Your Castle. So it's a small simulation. Go and play it, and maybe write a small report. What did you learn from this simulation, and what went wrong, and what did you do after that? Okay. So this is a process of marketing. Again, almost the same, starting by research, segmentation, targeting, positioning, strategizing, implementing, measuring. Same cycle. This is how to create value. We said we create value when we solve a problem. So first we need to identify the whom question. Whom are we serving? Okay. What problems do they have? And then we construct an integrated marketing program, our marketing mix. Here you find 4 P's: product, price, place, promotion. I'm going to point them out for you so that you can see them here. Product, price, place, promotion, right? Now, in management and studying generally, people try to use simplified words in order to make it easy for people to remember. So when I say the 4 P's, it is just an approximation to make it easy to remember. So, for example, when we say place, a lot of people say, oh, the place means the place where the company is located. No, that's not the place. The place talks about the channel. How do we reach customers? Promotion, it is not really promotion. It is communication and promotion. How do we communicate our offering? How do we create awareness about our product or our brand? How do we reach our customers with the information about our product? So these are the 4 P's. And do you know the difference between a product and a service? Okay, so let me ask Anjali. Anjali, is when you buy a hamburger from McDonald's, yeah, when you go and buy maybe, let's say, a vegetarian burger from McDonald's, is this a product or a service? You can write it down in the. I can't hear you very well, so you can write it down. Write it down in the chat if you like. Anjali, we can't hear you fully, so you can write down your answer in the chat so we understand what you're saying. It's a service. Thank you. It's a service. Although the sandwich itself looks like a tangible thing, but the process of preparing and uh, having a place where you go and or maybe ordering it and so on, so it is a service. It is a service. It does have a tangible element, but it is ultimately a service because usually it has to be consumed hot. Sometimes you can go to a supermarket and buy pre-packaged sandwiches and heat them at home. That's a product. But when you consume the food hot, then this is a service. Because you cannot really can you store McDonald's sandwiches? You cannot. You cannot store McDonald's sandwiches. After maybe half hour, you cannot eat them. So because it has to be consumed almost instantaneously, so consumption is a part of the process, so it's a service, becomes intangible. Let me give you another example. If an airplane usually sells seats. Can an airline store the seats? So this flight is not full. Oh, it's okay. We will store the seats and maybe sell it to the next flight. Can you do that? You cannot. Why? Because the ride happens as when the plane takes off. That's it. The opportunity is gone. If this plane is almost half full, you can never recover that revenue again. So you cannot store it. So service cannot be stored. In services, we say we have the 7 P's. Instead of just the 4 P's, we have the 7 P's. So in addition to the 4 P's, which is product, price, channels, which we call place, just to make it easy to understand, channel, and then communication, which we call it promotion, again to make it easy. In addition to that, we have people, because the crew in the airline or the person who's serving in the restaurant, they're important part of the service. The people who are selling in the retail store, they're important part of the service. So people are important part of service. It's important to train them. It's important because they are customer facing. They interact with customers during the service, during the selling process. Okay. The process is also important. There is a very good movie. It's called The Founder. I want you to write this down and try to watch it. The Founder. I think it's on Netflix, but I suspect you might be able also to find it on some local channel in your place. It's about the guy who made McDonald's what it is today. It's a very, very good movie. You learn a ton of business ideas from it. It's almost like a course on its own. Sometimes I just watch it again just to get inspired by how this person. And in fact, you would find that although the movie is called The Founder, you would find that this person is not the founder of McDonald's. That there are two brothers who were the real founders. But this person, in my opinion, he made McDonald's what it is today. The two brothers, they maybe founded one restaurant and the concept, but the person who actually made McDonald's, the successful franchise, what it is today, is this person. That's why he called himself a founder, and that's why we consider him the founder. Although it is the idea of other people. So when you watch that movie, I highly encourage you to watch it and we can discuss it later on. When you watch that movie, you find that the biggest invention in fast food industry was the process of producing delicious hot sandwiches quickly and with large numbers. So you can serve large number of customers at the same time with standard service, standard taste, good quality sandwiches, and also cheap because you're producing a lot of them. So you're getting economies of scale. So the process is very important in service. The process of turning around the plane quickly so that, passengers get out and new passengers get in after the maintenance checks the plane and the cleaning crew cleans the plane and the catering people load the plane with the new fresh meals and drinks and things like that, and the new pilot and new crew and so on. So the process is very important. The process of booking the flights is very so the process in service is very, very important. It is also important in manufacturing, but for marketing purposes, it is very important in services as well. Physical facilities. When you look at a place like McDonald's, you find that it is important to look at the physical facilities, including today, for example, delivery. So now maybe you cannot go to the restaurant, but delivery is part of the service. So that's requires physical facilities. That requires maybe they have motorcycles or special cars to make that delivery, and maybe they have special box to keep, or the pizza place they have a special box on the motorcycle to keep the pizza hot, right? So that when it reaches you quickly, then it is still fresh and you're happy, and you open the box and all the the steam comes out and you can smell the cheese and oh, that's nice, right? Okay. So the process and the physical facilities are important. The physical facilities include things like core facilities, like the kitchen. That's important. But also ancillary facilities. For example, the washroom. The washroom has to be clean. You can't go to a restaurant and not have a washroom. What about parking? It's part of the facilities. What about the cashier setup or the drive-through? It's a facility. So in the summary is marketing mix, we have the 4 Ps: product, price, channel, which is place, communication, which is promotion, and then we have people, process, physical facilities, and I add one more, which is user experience, UX, user experience, very important. All right, so that's a marketing mix. So in summary, the first question is whom, right? Whom should we serve? Whom are we targeting? Marketing is not just about promotion. It's not about just attracting customers. No, it's about deciding which customers to serve. So for that, we have to segment the market, learn about different segments, and then choose a segment to serve, know their needs, design our products and services to fulfill these needs and to fit their budget and to fit their preferences in a way that is significantly different from the competition. So that is what marketing is all about. Marketing is about understanding. It's about listening to customers. We listen to customers through research, but also through interactions, through call center, through even complaints. We need to know what customers like and what customers don't like about our service or about our products so that we can always improve. To be effective, we need to target a specific segment. Many students, they fall into the mistake and say, which segments? Oh, we serve everybody. Oh, good luck. Why? Why is not good usually to serve everybody? Because people have different needs. If you say, oh, everyone, our products will be sold to everybody. Oh, Good luck with that, right? So now you know that they are on the verge of failure most of the time. Of course, there are exceptions, but even companies which serve the whole market, they have different products. So, for example, Dell, they maybe serve many segments of the market, but they have a specific product or a specific family of products for each segment. They have gaming models, especially for gamers. They have productivity models, especially for business executives. They have like entry level for the okay. So they have even huge companies which serve several segments. They have different products and different offerings for each segment. Most companies usually only choose a few segments to serve, or maybe only one segment to serve, because focus is important. When you focus, all your attention, all of your resources are designed to hammer on that segment and penetrate that market and achieve success. That's why it's important to focus. We need to always think, are we adding value to these customers? And I'm going to ask Vishanvi. Vishanvi Ahlawiya. Ahlawaliya. How do we create
Yes.
value? We talked about this a few minutes ago. How do we create value usually?
By understanding what the customer needs.
Right. By solving problems. Right? We understand in order to know the problem. But not to know the problem alone doesn't create value. I can know the problem, but I will not solve the problem. Or maybe solve another problem. Or maybe the company, there are some people in the company who know the problem, the researchers, but there is not enough communication inside this company. There's not enough communication to communicate these problems and design the products accordingly. So in this case, there's no value created. So knowing the problem alone does not create value. Knowing the problem is the bottom line and the basis for solving the problem. But only when I solve the problem in ways better than the competition do I create value. When I create that pill which removes the headache, then customers are willing to pay for it, right? When I create the cure or the vaccine for COVID-19, governments are willing to pay millions of doses, to pay for millions of doses and buy millions or maybe hundreds of millions of doses to inoculate their population and protect their society and economy from the virus, right? So we create value by solving problems. But to solve problems, we need to understand the problems, and to understand the problems, we need to focus on a specific segments, and that's why the whom question is the most important question in marketing. Once we know whom we're serving, what their problem is, we start designing an integrated marketing program, product, price, channels, retail maybe, or distribution, then communication and promotion. That is an integrated problem. But that's not enough. We need to implement the program. We design a program, again, it's just some paper, but we need to implement it. We need to make sure that we create the product with the right quality as promised. We need to make sure that we exist in the store, that we are able to deliver at this price, that we communicate to customers so that they know about our offerings and they know where to buy it from and how all the features that it offers, right? But again, doing that requires element of control. Remember, management has planning, organizing, leading, controlling. What is controlling? Controlling is making sure that we are meeting the planned performance, that the actual performance meets the goals or targets. So that's why we measure our performance. Measure maybe customer satisfaction. Measure things like sales. Measure market share, profits, quality, evaluation of our customers or rating that we're receiving on social media for our services. All of this is measurement. And we check these measurements against our goals. And if there is deviation or differences, we start wondering, why is this happening? Is this positive or negative? What do we do about it? What do we learn from this? And then we amend. That's why it's a cycle. We amend our plans accordingly. Companies go into international marketing. Very often they do that to achieve growth. So many companies, either they already have reached saturation in the local market or the domestic market, so they say, now we want to export. They want to achieve economies of scale. They say, we already reach high level of saturation in the local market. Now we need to expand into international markets. That's why we're studying international marketing, so that companies which already achieved some success in the local market now or domestic market, now they can expand their business and grow. When you have a product and you already spent a lot of resources to invest into this product and to develop this product, research and development of this product, if you just sell it in one market, you're not really getting all the benefits. But if you start exporting this product or using other forms of international marketing, then you can reap more profits. So that is why international marketing is one way of growth and more profitability, by expanding the success from one market going to another market. We could also be diversifying our product. That is also possible. Or we could do both. We could expand to international markets and also diversify our products. So it's a kind of a matrix. We define marketing. International marketing is pretty similar. It is activity in institutions, processes across national borders, which creates, communicates, delivers, and exchange offerings that have value for stakeholders and society. So almost the same definition which we use for marketing, now we use that for international marketing. International marketing, as we just mentioned, helps companies achieve growth, improve economies of scale and efficiency, reduce the risk of relying on one market. So if we just, our products only in one market, what happens if this market is hit with a recession? Or what happens if international competition comes to this market and eats all our market share? In fact, one of the best ways to ensure that you can protect your domestic market is to go to international markets. Because in international markets, you will meet competition which will be likely to enter your market later on. If you go into international markets, you become prepared and experienced in international competition. So if your competitors decide to enter the domestic market, you're already prepared. You already know how to deal with them from other markets. So I think we can stop here, and we'll probably next week continue. So I'm gonna open the floor for questions, either regarding what we talked about today, or even if you need to know more about the technology or the system. So I'm gonna open the floor for questions before we leave. You will find lots of activities in week 1. So I want you to play with the simulation, which you'll find it under week 1. I want you also to go and register with Connect and do the first 2 orientation videos on Connect. I'm going to show you again. So when you go to Connect, this this presentation shows you how to register and connect. After you do that, you can watch these videos. It shows you how to use Connect. Then there is a small quiz on international marketing. So you need to go and read chapter 1 and 2 of the book and then try to answer this quiz. This quiz, you have several attempts until you do it. So it's not like it's more like a study tool. So it's not like a quiz, like, oh, pass or fail. No, it's not like that. It's you go there and maybe you get it wrong, so you go and study it again and do it again. So it's kind of an interactive process just to learn the material. And then I had this simulation for you. So just go and play this simulation and maybe write a small report. What did you learn from this simulation? And this is what you have to do this week. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. If you have questions later, you can email me. You know my email, right? You know how to reach me? Okay, that's good. If you want to meet me also, it's possible that you can schedule a meeting with me. I'm gonna see you hopefully on Friday, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, same time, 8 o'clock. So again, we can maybe, if you have a question also, you can tell me also at that time. I want you to use the chat to know about each other so that next week when we decide to form groups, you're prepared. So you know whom you want to join, whom you want to work with. Start even discussing with other team members, potential team members whom you want to work with. All right? Any questions before we leave?